as I can remember how to do it. So, that one. Interact. And boosh.
Humanity has always looked to the stars for enlightenment. And at last, salvation descends from bejeweled skies. For generations, we have lit the darkness with the fires of our faith. For generations, we've kept our bloodlines pure, as demanded by the galaxy's true gods. Now, it is time for us to answer their call.
To our ascension, of course. But if the blood of unbelievers must flow, then these streets will run red. We are a horde, a tide, an army born in the shadows. Humanity has always looked to the stars for enlightenment. And at last, the stars have answered!
Humanity has always looked to the stars for enlightenment.
Well, what a way to start. 2019, I'll just turn that off, like that. So, this is the first live update from the House of Chaos Productions, or Shades of Chaos Games, whichever way you want to say it. We have with us Carl.
Hello.
Ross. Hopefully.
I'm just joking, I'm here.
Yeah, funny. And we're joined today by Simon, who's a friend of ours from our local gaming club, who has some Warhammer 20th birthday stuff to share with you. Just going to quickly run around to see what people got from Father Christmas, Santa Claus. I'm going to start with you, Ross. Anything hobby-wise?
I did get a Demon Prince, which is pretty cool.
A Demon Prince.
Just the one, that's all you need.
Okay, well I like a couple, but that's for different reasons altogether. Simon?
No models, but I did get a airbrush and compressor for Christmas, so...
So your paint's going to improve, because normally it's shit.
Yeah, my painting's normally shocking, but hey.
Yeah. And I know Cole got some stuff.
Oh, yeah, a couple of things. A few too many things, possibly. Yeah, a bit of Hobbit, sort of Forge World stuff. So, yeah, we got a new troll and some goblins and the rest of the Hobbit Nazgul. Yeah, so lots to do. Yeah.
Excellent. I got a bottle of Jack Daniels.
Hey.
Yeah, which I still haven't opened yet. Shocker, I know, right?
Is this one of these New Year, New You things?
No, it isn't. I don't know what's going on. I haven't had a drink for ages. It's almost like I don't recognise myself anymore. Just don't fancy. I think the last time I had a drink was November when it's my birthday, and I managed half a can of Foster's. I struggled to get through it. I don't know, I'm not in the mood for it these days. So anyway, that's what we've all got for Christmas. As is tradition at this time of year, hobby New Year's resolutions. Simon, anything that you want to get done this year?
Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty vocal about it. I've started my Instagram feed up recently, and posting a lot more on there now. So my hobby resolutions for 2019, my hobby count last year was 37 miniatures painted, which isn't a lot really. Less than one a week. I want to do at least one a week now, so updating every week with a work in progress Wednesday and a finished Friday.
Right, okay.
Of models. So trying to keep myself going a bit. I think you need accountability when you do these sort of things, and that's my sort of accountability, is posting up to Instagram and onto the Two Piece podcast.
Right, yeah, we will be checking back in on these resolutions. So, yeah, because if you don't, I'm going to post up new pictures of Ross's mum.
Oh.
Right. So Ross, what's your resolution? You got one this year?
Same as last year. Finish what's on the painting table before starting another shiny project.
That's never going to happen, right?
That's never going to happen.
No. I could have been completely ridiculous and say I'm not going to buy any more models until I painted what's on my table.
You're not only lying to us, you're lying to yourself.
Yeah, that will never happen.
And that's the worst thing about it. I'm going to ask Carl next, because I'm pretty sure that his is going to be very similar to mine.
Quite possibly, I feel. Yeah, I've just got to do more painting and building and playing the games, and find more time.
Yeah.
Much Lord of the Rings for me this year.
Lord of the Rings is well up there at the minute.
Yeah.
It's kicking off everywhere, and for good reason.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Simon before we went live about things, and I wasn't going to have a hobby resolution as such, or a target, because I don't really have that much time, and to be really frank about it, painting is the last thing that's on my mind to get done in this gaming world we live in. But I was talking to Simon, I was explaining to him, I went up into the loft to put the Christmas decorations away, and while I was up there, I opened up a few boxes, and the amount of Lord of the Rings miniatures I have is ridiculous, and they're just sitting around upstairs. And this may, to people who are new to Middle-earth battle games, this may sound like you can't have that much, but myself and Carl have probably been collecting this stuff since it first came out.
Yeah.
Yeah? So we're talking 18 years worth of Lord of the Rings miniatures. It's around that sort of mark. And when I went up there, I couldn't believe some of the stuff I found. I didn't even know I had. I'd forgotten about it. So I found some ring wraiths. I found the old Gandalf from the Balrog, the original Balrog thing, but it was all metal, and it's just him and Gandalf from the Balrog. And I found all these things, but somewhere in the past, in the last 8 years, I must have been into the loft, because I've sorted them all out into groups. So I've sorted them out into like Minas Tirith and Moria Goblins and Rohan. But not only that, I've then gone men of Minas Tirith with bows and put them in a little box, and men of Minas Tirith with shields and put them in a little box. So I've done all that. So my resolution is to get one of those boxes painted a month. Doesn't sound like a lot, 'cause I'm not a very good painter anyway. It's just paint it, dip it, dry it, play with it. So that's what my
Models?
Yeah, and models. Yes, we're not talking about my penis, Ross, because I never dry that off. So yeah, so that's that. Shall we move on? I can. Yeah, I'm stuck with an image now. Oh dear. Right, so I can let everyone know now that this episode is going to be very Games Workshop heavy, because they have released quite a few sneak peeks and releases. So I'm going to start off with what I've been doing hobby-wise since our last broadcast, which was just before Christmas.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago, I think.
So, Friday, no it wasn't, it was Sunday the 30th of December, I went to the Dice and Daggers Gaming Club for their Lord of the Rings end of year event. If you live in North Cornwall and you're a gamer, North Cornwall UK and you're a gamer, Dice and Daggers is pretty much one of the best places you can get a game. It's every other Sunday. I'm going to quickly put their Facebook page in the chat. They are keen for every type of game, tabletop game. So from Saga to Flames of War, Bolt Action, Middle Earth, you name it, they probably play it. So it's always worth a drop in. So I went along to this Lord of the Rings event, which was, I need to go back a screen now. Basically, 2 teams of 5 players, and it was good versus evil. Each player brought 350 points worth of miniatures with them, and the idea was certain objectives on the table, you capture them, gives you more points to spend in your reinforcement phase. That's the table layout there from one angle. That's 12 foot by 6. For a Lord of the Rings game that may seem like a bit big, but trust me, it's soon filled up. And the idea being that one side of the river was the good and one side of the river was the bad, and the more models you had on one side of the river, in the opponent's side, gave you more points to reinforce with. So this is a shop, the fortress in the background, that's the good guy's fortress, and there's village there. Each one of these objectives, you had that village, that fortress, you had a town in the middle of the board, and at the opposite end it was exactly the same but the opposite way around. All had dice in it, and the amount of dice that were in that objective built up your reinforcements. So when you come across the middle of the board there, across that one little bridge, you're into your opponent's half. They start losing points and you start gaining more points. It was quite a day. Carl, you really missed out. I know you was hoping to go.
Yes.
Yeah, it started at about 10:30 and we didn't finish till 8:30 in the evening.
That's an amazing day of gaming, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really was. And Kurt and the gang up there, it was a friendly atmosphere. They play to win, but they're not big-headed about it. So if you're not entirely sure of a rule, it's not too bad. I took along the Army of the Dead from the new box set for 2 reasons. One, it was painted. When I say painted, it was sprayed grey and had 2 coats of X-ray flame put on it. And their rules light, because I didn't get a lot of time to prep for it. That picture you can see now, there's 2 Riders of the Dead there. Both those Riders of the Dead got killed by a Moria Goblin drummer.
Wow.
Well, yeah, I couldn't believe it. The Army of the Dead are good at holding things up, but they're not very good at fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think from 500 points onwards, I think it might be more viable, but that was the way it was. So it lasted for, you done your 6 turns, and then you had your reinforcement stage, and you done another 6 turns, and you do your reinforcement stage. I think in the end we done 24 turns.
Wow.
So it was such a good day though. I'm going to get a hold of Kurt and see if he's going to let us borrow the rules so we can use our own club. Because I think that's worth hiring the room for a day just to do that. So it was a really good thing. My other bit of news is Outlands. There's been a lot of Outlands work over the Christmas period. My Boxing Day and New Year's Day were non-existent because it was all taken up with Outlands, and I can't tell you anything about it, which is the bottom line, because it's not ready to go out in the public domain. Some of this will become very apparent at the end of this month. So Boxing Day consisted of me basically crunching some numbers together to see what we've actually done over the last year. So from February 2018, when we released Outlands the 2nd edition, we have in total released 10 patch updates, 1 mini expansion, 1 game bolt-on. Through that lot we have 14 missions, 3 missions in the Revelations campaign, 50 extra, I'm trying to remember all this now, 50 extra special abilities and heroic actions, 9 special characters. When I went through it all, I ripped out all of Ross's terrain building and my editorial bit where I just blabber on for a couple of pages. The total was over 121,000 words. And when you put all those rules and everything together, it was 324 pages. That may not sound a lot when you compare it to a 40k rulebook, but we do this in our part-time.
For a little indie game, it's it's a hell of a lot.
I had an idea it was going to be around the 300 mark, but and this is after I went through some of it and stripped out some spacing out of it all. So that, I think everyone involved with that project so far needs a round of applause, because it is something we do in our spare time, and I'm kind of proud that we've done that much. We've still got a long way to go with it. I'm not sure we're going to be able to keep up with all of it, because on New Year's Day I set out the projects for this year, and I can tell you now there are 7 separate Outlands projects for this year, and that's not including the other stuff that is top secret and we can't talk about. Carl knows what I'm on about. So if we do get close to that mark again at the end of this year, well then I'm going to take everyone out for a party, I think, because I think we all deserve it. So that's pretty much all the Outland stuff I can share with you now. The first Patreon loyal supporters newsletter is almost done. There's a few things I just need to iron out with that, and that's opened up another door for something else totally, which is another little project I'm going to have to work on. And the new relic weapon will be out on Sunday night, I believe, so if you're waiting for that, it will be out Sunday. We had a bit of a break from that just because there's so much going on. Ross.
Hello.
Ross, it's time to get your bits out, lad. Show the world what you've been up to. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. You tell me when you want to move along, because I haven't queued any of this up really. I've just loaded it all in.
I got my phone for backup because, you know, I really trust my internet, right?
It's not only that, is it? I mean, as soon as the sparrow flies past the window, you've had it.
Oh dear, dear. Right, okay. I set out making a big overpass.
Right, I
so
didn't
I
hear
could
any of
play-
that. Did anyone else get that?
No.
You were making a something.
Sorry.
Ah, good
Pass.
start. Good
you, were-
start.
You were passing wind? What?
Right. Yeah. All right. Good start.
Or were you just
Good old
passing in
technology.
general? Should we move on to Cole?
Yes, please.
Right, go.
No, I wanted to make a sci-fi overpass with some styrofoam I've had for a bit, so I could use it in my post-apocalyptic games, like I don't know, something awesome like I don't know, Outlands.
Yeah, sounds cool.
So yeah, it's a really good game. You should try it. So yeah, this the first picture is a picture of styrofoam. So not polystyrene, because polystyrene's pretty brittle. You can't file it or sand it or anything. And I had loads of this stuff lying about.
So this is the stuff that they use to insulate houses, right?
Yeah, yeah. If you get the blue foam or the pink, it is better. But this is relatively cheap, so I wanted to keep it cheap as per always.
So you had it lying around, is what you said. I mean, you nicked it out of a skip.
Actually, I did about 7 years ago. I haven't touched it.
Okay.
Yes, I actually did nick it out of a skip.
Ideal.
You were watching, weren't you?
It was my skip. I did say skip, right? Okay.
So, yep, I've got my chunk of polystyrene, or styrofoam even, and I made up some rough measurements, i.e. if I wanted to use it in other games with vehicles. The biggest vehicle I've got is a Land Raider for 40k, so I made the approximate measurements, and I know what kind of height and size I wanted. So yeah, next picture please, Maestro.
It's loading.
Spectrum. Yeah, so this is just me measuring out a few sheets, made some dimensions, and sanding it down. Nothing too fancy, nothing too special. And
I think you're a picture behind everyone else.
Yeah.
okay, are you on the broken one now? Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, ideal. So I want to make a couple of pieces for the overpass. So if I was playing a modern game, that I could slot into place. But then I wanted to make a few busted pieces.
When you say modern game, do you
Modern themed game.
so,
Trying to think right now.
so like zombie type game? Set in-
That would be ace.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe someone should do that.
Who'd have funked that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I want to make a modular piece of terrain so I can swap out busted pieces for decent pieces, vice versa. So I started breaking one up. You can use a hot wire cutter, which I generally use, or a knife. This one here was good old kitchen knife. Busted bits off. And you move on to the next page.
Which will come through now.
You'll see that I've kept a few pieces that slot into place. So I could put paper clips in to make the reed bars, because it's supposed to be concrete looking overpass. That was the theory anyway.
Oh, right.
So reinforced cardboard tubes. So toilet roll tubes are a bit flimsy, so I kept a few of these for, I don't know, about 10 years.
So where would
And,
you get them from?
I think originally these were from Christmas wrapping paper.
Say it looks like the inside of tinfoil.
Yeah, I think the white one was, yeah. But that kind of cardboard, that kind of gauge, toilet roll tubes will work, but I want something a bit more substantial. So someone was heavy-handed and knocked it. John.
Well, only if it's in my way. You can get these tubes if you know something, a carpet fitter or a floor
Oh,
layer.
those are ideal.
If not for the actual carpets, because they're quite big, but anything where they've got vinyl covering, those tubes are about the right size, aren't they? A little bit bigger than your kitchen roll one, but they're reinforced because they've got to carry quite a bit of weight. So you know any carpet fitters or floor installers, ask them, because no doubt they will have this stuff knocking around, and of course because they're commercial it's going to cost them money to get rid of it, as I found out recently.
That's crazy.
It is.
So yeah, I measured them for the height of the tallest vehicle, so they can pass underneath, because it wouldn't be much good as an overpass if vehicles couldn't go underneath. So next picture is me cutting them, not with a hot wire cutter, they just happen to be in the background.
You love that hot wire cutter, don't you?
I'm a little bit in love with it.
You are. We can tell.
It's so cheap though.
We can tell. We saw your Christmas photographs. It was just like you and a hot wire cutter sitting by a tree opening presents for each other. The next picture is loading up.
Okay. So I drew around the tubes on the underside of my overpass. I wanted to slot these bad boys in, so they no hamsters were included.
Wow, that's a little bit too much.
Yeah, so I didn't want to stick it to it because super glue reacts to it like the previous videos we spoke about. PVA glue takes forever, so I basically screwed the tubes into the bottom. The bottom of the overpass.
Right.
So they're nice and secure.
I missed that one, sorry. Right. But you could use contact adhesive though, couldn't you?
You can do. I got a little bit impatient and I thought, what happens if someone knocked the overpass sideways? It could easily snap off. So if they're inserted and glued...
Yeah, that's what I mean. If you insert it and glue it, then...
Yeah.
Instead of just trying to cram them into a hole. Oh, God.
Next picture, please.
Right, next picture is loading up. But for those who don't know, I've got all the pictures on my computer at home, and everything comes through my computer. So when I click a button here, it's loading really quickly my end, but because of Twitch and the way the internet works, there's a bit of a delay. So Ross, Carl and Simon are watching this as you guys are, and so there was a delay from when I press the button to when they actually see the picture. So that's the reason why I keep turning around and having a look at what's going on my other computer. So, sorry Ross, back to you.
So I had a load of mesh left over, not from work obviously, from the bodywork cupboard. So this is quite heavy gauge metal. It's slightly thinner than paperclip, as a bit of a gauge for you. But this stuff will make ideal fencing, I thought, and it's easily cut. So I want to make some busted fences along the side of the road.
Okay.
So just inserted those quite nicely into the styrofoam.
So, if you live in the southwest of the UK, you'll probably be familiar with the company called Trago Mills. You can pick up a sheet of this for less than £2. And it's a sheet, I mean, it's like 3 foot by 2 foot sheet. So I bought some a few years back. Or if you know someone who's into pest control, you might find they have a few scraps of it around because they use it to cover up openings that rats and stuff can get into. I'm just trying to think.
Yeah. Anything would do. I mean, you could use plastic sprue, keep the cost down. I know you can make concrete barriers, so not literal concrete, but once again out of the styrofoam. Yeah, I mean, you could even use like netting from, I don't know, Brussels sprouts, oranges, something like that. Maybe stretch that across. PVA glue it to stiffen it up, perhaps.
Stiffen.
But like with all my stuff, I keep the cost down. It's stuff that I've got lying around. But yeah, you could use whatever you want. I mean, if you wanted to use corrugated cardboard, I mean, you don't likely to see that on the side of the road, but it's a bit more apocalyptic-y, kind of beating up look, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, blue foam and a wood saw.
Yeah. So the blue foam was for the slope, because there's not much good overpass if you can't get on the overpass, is it? So I needed to make a wedge to go underneath my slope. So I made a few measurements and cut it with a great big wood saw.
Well, that's blue foam, that one, right?
So that's blue foam. So that's a bit easier to sculpt. It's not quite so reactive as the yellow stuff, so you could put a little bit of super glue on it and it probably wouldn't go off. Certain sprays are okay for it. They don't react. The yellow one can be a bit reactive, and the pink's not so bad either.
Yeah, you can drive a nail in a pink one and hang your coat off it. Not a wet donkey jacket, Ross, but yeah.
Mm.
So
yeah, next picture is me making some measurements up. Being tight, I didn't have quite enough, so I had to make it in 2 halves and stick it together. Some people say tight, I say careful.
Yeah, no, the rest of us call it tight.
Ah, right.
Just to let you
See,
know.
so once the glue is set, this stuff you could make it quite a good impression on the side. So I used a pencil and marked out some blocks. You could use a stone and press into the side of it to make it more like a rock or something. It's quite impressionable, this stuff.
This next picture isn't very good. It's out of focus.
Yeah, it is a little bit. So it's not very interesting either. It's literally me just sanding the top because I wanted to make the top a bit beaten up, but
Applying sand or sanding? You said sanding.
Sorry. Yeah, applying sand. PVA glue, a little bit of water, and the good old chinchilla sand that I'll have for the next 50 million years. I can't seem to get rid of. So nice and fine. I wanted to make it look like a tarmac topping on the concrete overpass. Beat a hole in the top of it as well, make it a bit of a blast mark. And then I set back, and once it was all dry, started airbrushing it. I mean, of course, you can use a regular brush, but I'm trying to practice my airbrushing skills. Lack of. Yeah, so I wanted to make concrete-looking base, so greyish, and then black on the top, and dry brush the whole thing. Put a few rusted marks as well on the fence, just add a bit of colour. And the last few pictures is me. I made a stencil up for the road markings. So when the black was dry, put a stencil down, just cut into basic cardboard, and brushed a few little white lines on it. So as you can tell, the slope on the last picture does need a second coat of black. And I was thinking about the next video possibly doing some weathering techniques and graffiti on the block section.
Okay.
What graffiti I'm going to put on there, I don't know yet, so suggestions are welcome.
I've got some choice words you can use.
That's all good. I can put that on there.
Yeah, we'll probably get taken off the air and Twitch will ban us, but we could put them on there.
Sure.
Okay, right. So, I think that's the last picture showing there.
Yep, that was it.
What we're going to do now is quickly show another video that came out of GW at the weekend. And then we'll be back with Simon, I believe. If we're lucky, I can get this to work. Yay!
Enlightenment. And at last, salvation descends from bejeweled skies.
We'll try another one, shall we? Try that one. Yay! turn that off. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of liking these little videos that they're putting out.
Yeah, they're really, really good.
The animated ones are, and that Gene Stealer Cult one, done it for me. I think I really like that. I like just the cosmetic side of it, the way they've done it. I mean, because it's not full-on animation. It's like that cell taking separate parts of the actual image and just moving it to give the impression that it's motion.
Yeah,
but
the Gloom Spike Gits one was good as well. Before that, it was very similar to the Gene Stealer Cult one.
Oh, we'll probably see that before the end. But anyway, Simon, now is your look. You got your own graphics and everything.
Look at this.
Wow, a shocker.
When my Twitch catches up, but yeah.
There it is. It's amazing.
There you go. Look at that. Look.
I know. Just for you.
Oh, I'm honoured, mate. Thank you.
Right, I'm going to go to the first picture. So you've got some hobby stuff to show us first.
Yeah. So first up was my my hobbying for the start of the new year. So
It will
I'm
load
off to
in.
the Grand, when it loads. Yeah. So I'm off to the Grand Clash for Shadespire at the end of January. January the 26th up at Warhammer World. So I generally try to take a new warband every time I go. So this time around, I decided I'm going to take Magor's Fiends. So did a little bit of hobby. So the first picture there is Magor. This is a work in progress picture. He's actually a bit further on than this now, but next update, if I'm allowed to come back on, I will bring some new pictures with that, because hopefully they'll be finished this week.
No one's allowed to come back on. I'm not even going to be here for the next one.
So this is Zarkus again. This is one of Magor's boys. They're Cornate Blood Warriors, basically. And the last picture should be.
So what have you done there? You sprayed it black.
So sprayed it black. That is a dry brush of. Go for my paints, which are next to me at the minute. So that is a dry brush of Lead Belcher, followed by a dry brush of Stormhost Silver, and then I have a wash that I've made up myself, which is basically a mix of Agrax Earthshade. I call it my Fantasy Armor Wash, but it's a mix of 2 parts Agrax Earthshade, 2 parts Known Oil, 1 part Coelia Green Shade, and 1 part Drakenhof Nightshade. So a blue, a green, a brown, and a black, and it gives this sort of very cold steel sort of effect.
Right. Okay. Well, if you do come back next time, we want to see these finished.
Yeah.
All of them. Everything.
So, and then basically after that, it's another dry brush of Stormhost Silver over the top, just to accentuate the highlights a bit more.
Okay, I'm looking at some sort of purple beast thingy.
Yeah. So the next picture is Riptooth. Now he is finished now. So he is my first model that I finished for 2019 for my hobby resolution. A lot of this was done with airbrush. So it was a Nagaroth Nightshade from the top with some Screaming Pink, and then the underneath was P3 Menoth White base, just sprayed up from underneath, and then I've glazed in the shadows with an old GW purple ink.
Right, okay.
Which is giving it that very purple tone.
I don't think the next picture's really giving it justice, to be honest.
No, well that's the finished model. It's not really giving it justice. Looks a lot better in real life, but I've then decided to do the base because it's Shadespire, and they're in the Shade Glass City, so it's a very greeny blue base for the shade glass. So with some blood red.
Right.
Good old the blood god.
So you're going to show us some more of them later on in a future update, hopefully.
Yeah.
When they're all done.
Now, for those who play Shadespire, you might be asking, where's the fourth member of the warband? Because there's only 3 there. I had a little bit of an accident with one of them, unfortunately, and
I wasn't there.
I was airbrushing or trying to airbrush the armor in, but it didn't quite work how I wanted it to, so I've had to actually strip him, and he's now back as a bare metal or bare plastic black primed model. So later on tonight I will be getting into doing the dry brushing stages with him and get the armor back up so that they're all at the same stage again.
Okay, right. So Simon, you went to Warhammer World past weekend.
I certainly did. Yeah, it was a part of my birthday present from my my partner, was to go to Warhammer World for the weekend or for the open day, the New Year open day, and it was celebrating 20 years of the gaming hall. So first picture that's come up here. My big thing that I love is Shadespire, and this was actually hidden quite well in the cabinets of the design team. So through the cabinet is actually Ben Johnson, who is the fantasy rules writer for Age of Sigmar, and also Jervis Johnson. But this was models from one of the guys, Sam Breesden, I think his name was, and it was literally a pile of models on the top. I saw Karnak there, really nice, and I sort of caught the Dark Oath War Queen, and then I looked and went, oh wow. So this is actually the new Godsworn Oath warband from Shadespire. Got a good idea that it's probably going to be out within the next couple of weeks, because generally we get the new warband drop just before the Grand Clash. So just to really mess us all up, the week before the Grand Clash they'll release a new warband, and then everyone's decks will change. So this is Godsworn Oath, one that I'm really interested in. You've got the leader, who is a female Dark Oath sorceress. The Dark Oath, for anyone who's not really a fay with Age of Sigmar, is the old Marauders of Chaos. So these are the humans that come from the frozen north, and they are tribesmen effectively, and they give themselves to the Chaos Gods. So we have the female there, she's the leader of the warband. She's going to be a wizard. We've then got a couple of barbarian guys, one with an axe and one with holding a double-handed sword, and then a girl throwing a spear, and a barbarian bloke with a bow, and also with it is the little dog, which is what I'm most looking forward to, because every release so far that Games Workshop's done with dogs in it have been awesome. So
okay, I should move on.
Moving on.
Right, so this one be particularly interested in is the Free Hunters.
Yes. So another thing that they was out up at the, or for us to look at, was some of the new stuff. So Gondor at War and the Three Hunters. Now this is a new plastic sculpt for each of Aragorn, Gimli and Legolas. They've got a really nice little dice set in behind as well, which will be out for release, and I've been reliably informed that these are out soon. Gimli has, I counted the J. Clare, the rules writer for Middle-earth strategy battle game. He actually painted up a set of these. So this is the studio ones, which are in the cabinet, which you weren't allowed to touch. But he actually had a set that he had painted up so that people could touch and feel and have a look at. Gimli has no less than 8 axes on him.
Someone's going to die live. The viewing figures will be massive. Go on, Simon, do it.
I feel like it, mate. So yeah, so Gimli has no less than 8 axes on him, which the detail's just superb on these models.
What's that token in the front there?
So that's the priority token for the Three Hunters.
Right, okay. And that comes with the model kit?
That does. So that's all on the plastic sprue.
Okay.
I'm gonna get myself a drink a second.
Yeah, go on. So, Carl, did you ever get the old?
Funnily enough, yeah, Ross got me them because at the moment they're the Warhammer World exclusives, aren't they? The Three Hunters now. So yeah, a bit annoying, but they're completely different sculpts and stuff. The new Gimli's great. I really
Yeah.
like that.
I'm not
I'm
sure about
not sure
Legolas.
the other two. No, I like the pose. I don't know about the face again. That's my one thing with some of these. That
I'm really starting to
don't know how
think
good
it's
the
got
faces are.
something to do with the process that they're using now.
Yeah.
Or
Could be
maybe
that,
they're
they're
just
painted
not
even.
getting the permission to use the likeness.
I would assume they must still have that
Yeah.
as part of it.
I mean, the Aragorn pose is very much the pose that he has when he's running from when they jump off the ship in
Yeah.
Return of the
Jump
King.
off the boat, isn't it? Yeah.
Badass.
So it's really cool. And along with that, I got a little bit of a tidbit of news from Jay about some of the upcoming rules. Hopefully, the next slide will be Gondor of War.
No, it won't be.
No.
No, because they came through in the wrong order.
Oh, they did.
Your
didn't they?
next
Yeah.
slide is Nighthaunt Mushroom.
Moloch's Mob. Okay, so I'll talk about this and we'll skip over the Gondor of War
Well,
slide.
it'll be up in a minute. Don't worry.
But it'll be up in a minute. So Moloch's Mob, again, new Nighthaunt warband. This is the second warband that's coming out with the Godsworn Oath.
He's finally done it.
I finally died.
I knew we should have gotten a webcam. Would have been so much better.
So Moloch's Mob, I'm personally looking forward to this one as well. Great big Troggoth, few squigs. It's going to be an amazing warband, this one. The plastic quality is brilliant again. Same as always with a lot of the Shadespire miniatures.
Right.
And all push fit. So this was actually on the sculptors tables, and basically as you went around the outside of the open day, there were different sectors of people who you could talk to. So this was actually with all the sculpting guys, and again found out from them that going forwards there's going to be a lot more of these push fit models coming out for Age of Sigmar and the likes, and they're aiming to roughly get the balance of a 50-50, so 50% push fit, 50% multi-part plastic build kits.
Okay. What are
for the
these?
whole-
Are they goblins or?
So these are part of the Gloomspite skits, so they're available with Well, you know, you can use them with the new Gloomspite skits army that's coming out.
Okay.
So this is a Troggoth, or what we would have known as a troll back in the day, and then a couple of squigs, different types of squigs.
Has the one at the front been officially named yet?
No,
flying one.
yeah,
Did
No.
they? No.
Barry.
No. Well, someone went for Squidgin somewhere, which I think was superb.
Squidgin,
Yeah.
superb.
No, I'm with Ross. Barry.
Barry
Right.
the Squidgin.
Gondor at war.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, going back to the slide with the three hunters. So, one of the little tidbits of Gondor of War that I got out of Jay, and they had to keep pretty, tight pursed on it all, was the fact that firstly, Gondor at War will be with us soon. Now, soon, when it comes from Games Workshop, is probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Obviously, that was on the live cast last Thursday for Games Workshop, so anyone that watched that would have seen the book, but they didn't release any sort of details, just the cover. But one of the things that I was told at the open day from J. Clare was the fact that there are going to be new legendary alliances. Now, these are made to be part of specific areas from the films, and the alliance that he told me about, because I'm quite interested in Rohan, and my alliance I wanted was the three hunters when they meet Aemir in the Two Towers, with the Riders of Riddermark. Riders of Rohan, what news from the Mark? I'm told that's probably going to be a later on one, but in Gondor at War there is a new legendary alliance, which is basically Aragorn. Now he has to be unarmored, and he has to take Anduil, Flame of the West, the King of the Dead, and then you can take Legolas, Gimli, and also the Army of the Dead and Riders of the Dead, and that will keep the original army bonus plus a new army bonus.
Yeah, so that ties in with the film and Return of the King, and
ties
the
into
story.
the Return of the King film.
So that's quite an interesting thing. I've been playing with the Army of the Dead recently, as I mentioned earlier, and I find them very restrictive at lower points. So maybe having. Do you get to keep the army bonuses though from it?
Yes. You get to keep the Dead
idea.
of Dun Harrow bonus, and then there is another bonus for the Army of Legends.
Right.
Which again I
Probably
wasn't allowed to
just
know.
affect them 3 or something. Yeah.
However, because I really, really love the Three Hunters, sort of that's just part of the Lord of the Rings story that I love. And after having that news, I promptly went and bought the King of the Dead, some Warriors of the Dead, and some Riders of the Dead. So my wallet actually didn't thank me on Saturday.
It's one of the reasons why me and Carl have never been.
Yeah, quite.
So yeah, we'll do it this year, Carl. We'll go.
I think so. Yeah.
And
Well, there is the Lord of the Rings Grand Tournament coming up in March.
I wouldn't want to go there to play games. I want to go there to have a look and shop. And me and Carl are going to go. We're not inviting anyone else because they never invite us.
I was
Oh,
waiting
yeah.
for that. I was waiting for that.
Okay, right. Well, thank you, Simon. Oh, no, hold on. We're not finished.
Oh no, we've got more.
We have one more, I think. This is Middle Earth as well.
Yes, so that is the Commanders Pack.
Yeah.
So that is also, I think they released that at the weekend. They said on the community page that they were going to be releasing it, but that will be coming out with Gondor at War and the Three Hunters. So it's more of a tournament pack than anything else, but it is a nice Commanders Pack for tournament players.
More
Not
tokens.
even necessarily tournament.
More
Yeah,
tokens.
just
Reminders.
Just Carl's already figuring out where the best place to buy it from.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
done, mate. It's done.
Yeah.
But
more tokens.
Yeah.
Army list sheets so you can write your armies up on.
yeah, this is all the update to the one that came out for the previous rules that they only did for like 2 months.
Did they not do one for battle companies as well?
No, I think it was
Oh,
just before it. The one I had that's got all the tokens and the reference cards for the scenarios, like this one's got.
Yeah, it was just before.
It,
so
yeah, it was literally before the rule change, so they knocked it on the head pretty quick.
Yeah. So a couple of my other purchases from the open day. I also bought Griff Oberwald from Blood Bowl for the humans.
Yeah.
And they also had the 2 new human star players, Carla Von Kill and Hemut, who were also up there, and they were actually available to buy. So I picked up Carla because I really, really like the model.
Carla Von Kill.
Carla Von Kill, yeah.
I'm really hoping that's a female model.
It is a female
is.
model.
Good,
yeah.
because I got strangely aroused when you said that name. It's like the girl I could go for. You're going to tell me she's a goblin now, right?
No. Human.
Yeah,
Perfect.
She's got a very Wonder Woman-esque look to her, though. So
we all on a Saturday night.
we're talking the original Wonder Woman cartoon, TV series sort of Wonder Woman.
With Linda
that sort of
Carter.
look.
Not the
Yeah.
one that me and John saw at Exeter Comic Con.
That was Blunder
I don't know.
Woman. No. she had trouble walking.
Perfect.
Was that after you'd been at her?
No, no, no. God, yeah. Thanks, Ross, for reminding me of that. Right, I think that's you, Simon.
That's
if I
me
was
done.
you, I shall have a glass of water. Right, Carl. Your moment
Yeah.
to shine has come. We're just going to play this last video because I know it's very relevant. Relevant.
Yeah.
I can get it the right way round. I can. There we go.
The bad moon spoke to me once.
That is me on a Saturday night.
All these years, through all these realms, I've followed it in the skies. And I've heard all the stories about how it came to be. Kokamoka tried to have a bite of it, back in the age of myth. He was always an hungry god, that one. Even trying to eat stars and moons, but it was too tough, even for him. It busted up his teeth, and the moon went bad. Kokamoka left some of his power in it when it knackered his gob. The spider fangs got a different story. They gabber that it's the spider god's big egg. And one day, it's gonna crack and cover all the realms in spiders. I don't know about that. Could be the shamans are right instead. They say it's the spirit of every grot spellflinger that ever lived, all bashed together, high up in the sky. But, like I said, the bad moon spoke to me once. Just once, years ago. And I've followed it ever since. Watched it work its mushroom magic on the Yumis. I've begged it to answer me again. I've sacrificed to it, prayed to it, done everything I can think of. Do you see me down here? I'm Scragrock the Loon King, Lord of the Gloom Spike Gits. Answer me! Will I ever hear your voice again?
Do you know what the best bit about that was? The Loon King. I'm the Loon King. I'm going to find someone now. I'm going to give him that nickname. So God help anyone at the club on Friday. So Carl, we're going to go. Here we go.
Yeah, speedy one tonight. A few new things.
You shout when you want me to
out of
push them
Yeah,
on.
go with first picture. Right? I've not got a lot on these, but yeah, sort of coming out this Saturday, aren't they? Next day, OS Army. We've got some goblins to us normal people. What are they? Gloomspite Gits, isn't it? It's the new GW name.
So what were these fellas called in the old fantasy? They were
night goblins, weren't they?
Fanatics, these guys, weren't they?
Fanatics, these
Fanatics.
ones. Yeah, Fanatics. See new up to date plastics, I think.
I wonder if they're still going to be as ridiculous as they were in
Yeah, they were.
the old fantasy, because when they went the wrong way,
yeah, friendly fire. Yeah,
they wouldn't stop either.
very, very much think they'd be similar somehow, but yeah, it's always been the way of them. So, yeah, I suppose we'll see their new to-date things. Yeah, some squig hoppers as well. Yeah, I quite like these for their comedy value. So
I love the knights.
yeah, yeah.
Squig herder next, I believe.
Yeah, we should have the herd of them, I think.
The one at the bottom is the best. With the goblin inside the mouth.
In its mouth,
Yeah.
yeah, that's superb. Yeah. The little sort of bagpipe.
Yeah, I've just seen him blowing the mushroom
musician
bagpipe.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of that at the end of the 80s. Probably explains a lot now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's still a good
In the
pastime in
next-
some areas, I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm guessing this is some sort of character.
He's the yes. I'm just gonna fish out his name because was he Skag the Loon King? There you are. It's the Loon King. So yeah, I thought it was, but
Marcus, that's it. That's it. Going to call him the Loon King.
oh dear.
Cheer him up no
Yes,
end.
Yeah,
There's a lot going on. It's deceiving that there is a lot going on with that miniature.
yeah. He's definitely fits in the new sort of scheme and the little squig on the coattails.
Like all the toadstools coming out of the
Yeah,
helmet
yeah.
and got it growing out the side of
Yeah,
his
it's
staff.
definitely the mushroom theme. These guys, it's, yeah, been taken to the extreme.
Is this? I'm guessing this is going to act
This,
like
yeah, it's like a scenery kit, but it's was it the
bit like the herd
Bad
stone.
Moon
Yeah.
Loon Shrine? So I guess it's gonna be like the ones we've seen previous for other armies. The Chaos Tree wasn't there? Was it Chaos? The Gnarl Tree, and it'll probably have some in-game effect, I would imagine.
I'm just going to move that
Yeah.
a bit. See the problem, I mean they all look very nice, but I couldn't paint that. I could not paint all those toadstools and those
That's the
mushrooms.
thing. It's a big time investment on that, but as a thing, it does look kind of cool. I think as a, I could see people using that as almost a display board.
Is this going to be the new thing now? Because we've had one for the Beastmen.
Yeah, it seems to be a.
I think it'll
growing
be.
thing.
I think it'll be a thing for the very tribal things.
Yeah.
So like the goblins are quite tribal, aren't they? And the beastmen are tribal, and I think you'll see that with the Dark Oath when they finally come out, because
they'll have some chaos shrine or something. I imagine I can see that.
yeah, if going back to Shadespire is anything, obviously recently they've had Zarbag's Gits, we've now got the Gloomspite Gits in
Yeah.
Age of Sigmar. So I've got a feeling that the next sort of releases for Age of Sigmar will be something Dark Oath orientated eventually.
Yeah, I think that's almost a favourite for first, second quarter. And it's, yeah, what's this one? This is the spells, isn't it?
The spells,
spells.
yeah.
Yeah, obviously don't know much on the details, but
Well, that's definitely a mushroom cloud.
yeah, I'm getting a bit of the feeling there. And I can't remember. Did they have? They had a spell, a bad moon something. I'm brain's
back-
gone, but
Back in the old
old
Warhammer,
wasn't it,
you
or
used to have the small magic of Mork, wasn't it?
yeah,
And
Yeah.
then the big magic of Gork.
yeah,
If you were a goblin, you could only take the magic of Mork, if I remember right.
that yeah, seems. Yeah, I expect something there. Ties in with some of that. Yeah,
God
let's
knows
see.
what this next one is.
Yes, then from that. Oh, this is. They're all like little characters. What are they? The Gobberpalooza, I believe, was the name it gave that. Which I found quite hilarious. But yeah, they're kind of a little group of characters. Each as mental as the next, I think.
these were actually at the open day as well. So
Yeah.
Are they 25mm base or the 32s?
25 mils.
I think they're 25s, aren't they?
Yeah.
Still.
Still a lot going on there.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, so the next one is the guy with the yellow goblin helmet. Or something.
Yeah,
Punch from Punch and
that's the Loon Boss rather than the Loon King, I believe. So you got another one to Loon.
So that's the equivalent of the old big boss, isn't it?
Yeah. Classic.
Wow.
Moon mushrooms, yeah.
Yeah, it's the mushrooms that put me off.
The mushrooms will actually be quite easy to paint.
Well, you say that, Simon. This is me.
Yeah, no, you can follow your really easy painting. You know.
Well, spray it, wash it.
Yeah. So you could spray it with a. Well, I don't know if they do. Do they do a Rakoff flesh spray?
Annoyingly not. But
No,
I
mean it would be Rakoff flesh. Wash it with Agrax Earthshade, and then just if you wanted a red mushroom cap, just layer on some.
Did it already? That's one stage too many.
We'll have to get you painting more.
We got up now the sneaky snufflers, isn't it? With the whatever these are, squigs with noses, I imagine.
We all love a sneaky snuffler.
Oh, don't we all?
Apparently so.
Squid pigs.
Yeah, I lost some of them as well in my time, but that's a story for that's a very late night broadcast.
Yeah, that's it's still 9:15, so. PG.
What really interests me about those is the fact that you've got like almost like an upturned spider on its back,
What?
Yeah.
or some sort of shrine on its back, sort of thing.
I'm just gonna
Or
go
which of the
back.
goblins I'm talking about,
Oh yeah.
or
yeah,
whether
I
that's the
suppose it
cage
is.
where they keep them to.
Yeah, it could be. I'm not sure.
I've moved on.
Yeah, move on to the big mangler squid, isn't it, or something?
Mangler's squids.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big one. These
The
redone.
loon boss on Mangler Squid.
Yeah, there is alternates to this kit, isn't there? You can just
Yeah.
See, I might get that just because of that. Just that model.
It's just funny that they always have been, haven't they? I mean, the
Well,
old
there's already been some moaning on the in the Age of Sigmar Facebook community pages about how powerful the new Loon Boss on Mangler Squid is.
Yeah.
I can't believe people still have a problem with this.
It's power creep. GW's always done it.
We've
It's
got
get
to
you
do
follow
it,
the new
haven't
army.
they? Yeah. What's the point of bringing out an army that's just total shit? No
Yeah.
one's going to want to buy it.
Exactly.
I can't still get people not getting their head round it. It's a bit of a bugbear for me. Hello, Ross. Your mum's on the screen.
Hello, mother.
Shave the beard.
Oh dear. Got it. Yeah, well, Trogoths now, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, the
I
chocolate.
think these are actually. They're not on pre-order yet. I think it's this week they do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and these apparently can be an army of just Trogoths, can't they? Because there's
Yeah,
a
you can
character
get,
in
the
another
Troggoths.
type.
Ah,
So,
brilliant.
yeah, an army of Trogoths is a possibility. Whether it's in any way good is another question, but could be
And they're
fun.
so characterful still.
Yeah.
They're just brilliant. Love them.
Yeah, definitely like them. So.
I think that's the last one, Carl, was it not?
I think
for them.
we should have the other Trogoths,
Oh,
and,
okay.
and then the other thing that
Yeah.
I just stumbled across tonight that's coming out next week, because obviously it's been a bit quiet. That's the other type of Trogoth there. Yeah, lost my note, but yeah.
So just a little bit for you, Carl, as well on the Gloomspite Gits. I got to have a quick look at the rulebook
Yeah.
when I was at Warhammer World. And the nice thing to know about it is that it's not just Gloomspite Gits, it is all the clans for goblins are in there. So the Spider Riders, everything is all in the book, which is really cool.
Yeah, I hope to see some more of the old Bling comedy things. The
Right,
divers and the
40K.
like. Yeah, that was the other thing that just caught my eye tonight when I was having a final sniff around for new stuff. This is coming on to pre-order this week, and it's kind of like a city fight / campaign system. So yeah, don't know a great deal about it, but I would imagine it's gonna be like that. Was it Firestorm for AOS? You know, campaign box.
Yeah, I remember the one.
So yeah, and it's got a thing there with a load of cards and the map, and you can kind of keep a layout by putting the cards onto the map or something, or into it. I don't know. It's like a sleeve. So I'm half interested. Could you know,
Ross,
like
you're
campaign
the
things,
40K player. What do
yeah.
you know? What do you know about this, Ross?
He's gone dead.
Oh, and he didn't do it.
No, I'm here. I didn't know nothing about this until Carl said. I thought he was going to pop up with that new Chaos Lord.
Yeah, I would say I did leave the Chaos Lord off because that was from the weekend, and I didn't know what Simon had, and as he had been there, I didn't. I'd kind of left all that well alone. But this was on the email from last night that says what's going on pre-order next week or this Saturday. So I'm not sure pricing, etc. But yeah, it's like a campaign city fight supplement.
Don't know pricing, but yes, I can confirm it's an updated version of the city fight.
I thought, yeah, that was the gist I got.
And if you remember the first city fight they did like a campaign for it, and it was
Yeah.
map-based. So it's a redo of that, basically, some additional rules and stuff in.
Yeah, because the last city fight, whether it was that 7, they did that. Didn't really have a campaign with it. It was just rules.
Yeah.
For the city fight games, if I'm right. Oh, and of course the new Manufactorum to fit in with all their other shiny scenery.
Yeah.
And it fits between the two ranges. Yeah, the Sector Imperialis and Mechanicus, isn't it?
Yep, and to go with the Manufactorum and the release of the Genestealer Colts, you have the Colt Drill.
Yeah, the Colt Drill scenery thing.
And that is a superb piece of scenery.
Yeah.
But it has a skull on it.
It's 40k, it's going to have skulls all over it.
But why would it have it on it?
It's the rules. It's Games Workshop, come on.
So I would get some of the scenery, it wouldn't fall the skulls on it. I really would. But having all the skulls on it just puts me right off.
Yeah.
Just trying to think, what was it? Oh, it's the mechanics. That, isn't it?
Yeah, the drill on that Genestealer Cult piece of scenery is actually made so you can loose fit it on the front, so it can actually move up and down.
Yeah.
It's really quite cool. Although it seemed a pain in the arse to put together.
Simon language. Okay, that's it. That's it. He said he's one chance. He's blown it. Right. I think that's it.
I think that's done it for this week's new things.
1 hour and 22 minutes.
That's the best. Really.
Right, so that's it for this week, for this update. Simon does have more stuff from the open day, and myself and Simon are gonna next Monday. Simon?
Yeah, next Monday.
We're gonna do a quick special just for Simon's open day stuff, so we can get that out of the way again. But I do believe the pictures are going to be moving on by themselves, so I'll just turn them off like that. So guys, when are we going to be doing our next one?
Fortnite?
21st?
Yeah.
Let's see
Can
why
do
not.
that, I
Yeah,
think.
so we'll do another one on the 21st. Like I said, next week we'll just do one purely for Simon to listen to his own voice again.
We'll just tell him it's recording.
Yeah, you guys can drop in if you want to or not.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Shouldn't be a problem.
You won't be expected to submit anything, let's be honest. I was expecting stuff today, and quite frankly, you told us stuff we already knew. So, yeah, so we'll be back next Monday about 7:30, and then we'll do a proper update on the 21st. As always, this is being recorded, so we're going to put it up on the YouTube channel. I just wanted to run through a few things. One of the things we wanted to do for 2019 was to support some sort of charity. And charity. The way we're going to do that is on the Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/House of Chaos Productions. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can go along there and you can make a donation. Now that donation can be anything you want, from £1 to £5. 50% of that will go back into the development of Shades of Chaos games. The other 50% will go towards Mind, which is a charity for mental well-being. How this is going to work is the second Monday of each month, starting in February, we have a Mind shop on the High Street here in Bodmin. I'm going to go down there and I'll make the donation of whatever donations we've collected. I shall photograph it and then we can put it up on the live stream. The 50% that goes towards Shades of Chaos helps us just keep things moving on. We do need to buy some new equipment. We need to get Ross into somewhere where he hasn't got a dial-up connection. So it all helps, it all goes through, and 50%, like I said, will go towards the Mind charity, which I think we can all agree is worth the cause.
Definitely.
Also on our Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/House of Chaos Productions, we're having a prize giveaway when we reach 50 followers. Now this is rolled over from December, so I'm looking at it now. Although on screen it's saying 19, it's actually 15. The idea being, once we get to 50 followers, we do a prize draw. I shall randomly do it. I shall do it live. I shall draw out one of our followers live, and they can have a £25 Amazon gift card, or $25, or the equivalent in whichever country you live in the world.
Well, not 25 yen or something.
Well, £25 worth of yen.
Yeah.
Yeah? Or
Yes.
groats in your case, Ross.
Not rupees.
Not rupees, no. Kruger can. Right, that's going to happen on the 31st of January, which I believe is a Thursday, at 7:30 in the evening, if we get to 50 followers. If we don't get to 50 followers, it'll roll over until the end of February, which I think this year is just the normal
28 days.
28 days, which also is a Thursday. Wow, bleach my hair. So you can, that's quite easy to do, just follow, click the notification button. When we get to 50 followers, you've got a chance of winning a Amazon gift card. I think that's about it for the moment. Anything anyone wants to add? Apart from Simon, because he's said too much already.
I have. No, I'm gonna stop for now. Thank you for having me on. That's all, guys.
Well, we're more than welcome.
You're good.
He says like you're gonna let it back. Carl, anything from you?
Yeah, nothing major. No, I'm sure we'll see what comes up.
Are we going to
next
see you at the
week or
club
two.
this week?
It's a good, strong possibility. I hope because
Say
it's that
what?
time.
Because myself and Nick are going to be playing some. Well, funny enough, we're going to be playing some Middle Earth.
Oh, hurrah!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we could probably do with you being there.
Righty-ho.
Ross, anything to add?
I don't think so.
No?
No.
You sure?
Now I'm down myself.
I think you should. You know what your memory's like.
Oh God.
Oh God, right. Well, by this time next week, Ross will probably remember what it is. By a fortnight, he would have forgotten it again. So I think that's it. We're going to stop it now. If you watched live, thank you very much. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you again. And we are